Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean, spelled like Gene.
And my name is John with a silent H.
You know, we got some exciting news today. This is going to be the first time on our podcast that we have a sponsor. Take it away.
Woo. Do I have a cool... You knew it was coming. So... Oh, I clicked it again. All right, so today's episode is sponsored by Green Chef. So Green Chef is like it's a meal service that sends you a bunch of stuff to your house so you can cook it and stuff like that. So they're actually a USDA certified organic company, and they have a bunch of different meal plans. They have paleo, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, Mediterranean, Heart Smart, lean and clean, keto, gluten-free, and omnivore. A lot of different options to choose from. I ended up picking the vegan one because you guys know that I'm like dairy free, right? So I just figured if I picked that one, I wouldn't have to worry about there being like dairy in anything. So that was what I did. And what's really nice is that like the ingredients get delivered right to your door, and they're like pre-packaged, they're pre-portioned, and they're mostly like prepped. So a lot of the stuff is like will be cut up, so you have to do a little bit of cutting, but a lot of the stuff is pre-prepped and stuff like that. And then it's delivered like right to your door, right? It's like handpicked, so you don't have to worry about like going shopping or anything like that. And the recipes are like super quick and easy. They come with these cards that have like all of the recipe, obviously that has everything that you're going to need to use to cook it. And then it has like pictures of like what you should be doing, what it should look like at this time. And it has like step-by-step instructions. And then it also has like tips from the chefs to like help you out with it. So it's really easy, super easy to use. And the food tastes really good. When I was doing I cooked most of them with my girlfriend Charissa, and I really felt like I was a master chef.
That's the nice thing about that is like you can, if you're like a single person living on your own, it's like sick. I have exactly how to cook this. This is cool. Mm-hmm. But also like if you're it
was like a nice date night.
Exactly. Like it's like a nice date as well of like, oh, let's cook this together, and then now you're creating something together, and you feel good about it because it's healthy food. You know?
Yeah. So it was really really nice, and my favorite thing that I made with her was this stuff. It was a lentil mushroom curry. Super good. It was like really easy to make. Most of them take like between 30 to 45 minutes to like prep and everything like that. But yeah, so we have a deal for you guys. If you guys go to greenchef.us/workforchange, again, greenchef.us/workforchange, you can get $50 off your first order. So if you guys want to check it out, we would really appreciate it. Again, it is www.greenchef.us/workforchange. WORKFORCHANGE. Did I spell that right?
Yeah.
Great.
And if you're enjoying the Work for Change podcast, don't forget to hashtag Work for Change podcast the same way, WORKFOR Change podcast on Instagram. Put it in your stories, put it on your posts. Be sure to tag @obese2beast, @GeneGloud, and we will be in contact with you, and it'll be super cool. I mean, in contact, I mean, we'll like it. That's like
we'll give you a call. Hey,
21st century contact. He liked it, so I guess we're friends.
Yeah, we're best friends. But yeah, sweet. So this is episode
18 of the Work for Change podcast.
Let's do it. Okay, so I wanted to start this episode with me reading terribly again. So this is from Ego is the Enemy, which is the book that I've been reading for the past couple weeks. It's by Ryan Holiday. It's really good. I really, really like it a lot. And it goes through like chapters. The chapters are really short. So they're like 3 pages to 4 pages long. It's not even really a chapter, but like they'll have little, basically like topics that they're talking about, right? And the topic of this, the title of this topic is called Don't Be Passionate. And when I read that, I was like, what? That's interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and read a couple of the segments from it. I'm not going to read the whole thing because we'd be here for a while, but I want to read the parts to me that I felt like were kind of interesting to see what you think about it. So it starts off, passion. It's all about passion. Find your passion. Live passionately. Inspire the world with your passion. People go to Burning Man to find passion, to be around passion, to rekindle their passion. Same goes for TED, and now the enormous South by Southwest, and 1,000 other events, retreats, and summits, all fueled by what they claim to be life's most important force. Here's what those same people haven't told you. Your passion may be the very thing holding you back from power or influence or accomplishment, because just as often we fail with no because of passion. And then he goes on to explain like different people that have kind of gone through this, like Eleanor Roosevelt, just like a ton of, like that's kind of how the book is set up, right? He explains something and then he gives you historical figures and people that kind of relate to that. But then it goes into saying this: passion typically masks a weakness. Its breathlessness, and impetuousness and franticness, those are big words, are poor substitutes for discipline, for mastery, for strength and purpose, and perseverance. You need to be able to spot this in others and yourself, because while the origins of passion may be earnest and good, its effects are comical and then monstrous. And then it goes on to say a little bit later, if the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, then passion is a form of mental retardation, deliberately blunting our most critical, that was kind of aggressive, but deliberately blunting our most critical cognitive functions. The waste is often appalling in retrospect. The best years of our life burned out like a pair of spinning tires against the asphalt. So I know that this all sounds like really like, what? Why is he? This is super negative. Like, don't be passionate. Why wouldn't I want to be passionate? So the whole premise of this is, instead of being passionate, have purpose. And so this is where it kind of talks about that. It says, what humans require in our ascent is purpose and realism. Purpose, you could say, is like passion with boundaries. Realism is detachment and perspective. When we are young, or when our cause is young, we feel so intensely. Passion, like our hormones, runs strongest in youth that it seems wrong to take it slow. This is just our impatience. This is our inability to see that burning ourselves out or blowing ourselves up isn't going to hurry the journey along. Show up, blow up. Passion is about. So I am so passionate about blank. Purpose is to and for. I must do blank. I was put here to accomplish blank. I am willing to endure blank for the sake of this. Actually, purpose de-emphasizes the I. Purpose is about pursuing something outside of yourself as opposed to pleasuring yourself. So that was everything in that chapter that I thought was kind of an interesting, thing. And I remember when I was reading the book, I was just like, that's really interesting. I didn't know. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I 100% agree or I know everything about that. But I just thought it was interesting, and I would love to kind of hear what you think about that.
Yeah. Well, I think that I have a problem with the kind of highly effective, super every minute needs to have purpose, Tim Ferriss kind of person. Mm-hmm. If you're that person, I apologize. Tim Ferriss, if you're listening, I apologize.
Please be a guest on our
show. And here's why. Because I used to try to be that person. Like, how can I make every moment as productive and effective as possible? How can I get down to every single minute? And it's like, that's really cool if you can have a robot that does that. Mm-hmm. Like, if you can have a robot that is being productive and effective every moment of the day, sweet. We are not robots. Like, we're not. Like, we have ups and we have downs, and we have things like passion and we have things like love. So when I first originally heard that, I disagreed with it. And I was telling you, I'm like, yeah, I think I disagree with that, because to cut us off at our passion and our love is to cut us off on the things that make us human, right? Like, a tiger isn't passionate about killing.
That's its purpose.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Like, that's just what it does. It's not like a tiger can be like, you know what, I think I'm going to turn vegan. Like, it doesn't do that. It doesn't have that self-awareness and that ability, and if it did, it would die.
Yeah, it would be a dead tiger.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I was listening actually to another podcast that was, like, the one that I put on my story today.
Lewis Howes
with Erwin.
School of Greatness, yeah.
But it was like, he was saying, like, a silkworm wakes up and starts making silk. That's what it does. That there's no cognitive dissonance in its mind where it's like, am I fulfilling my desires and my... So, to cut yourself off, to literally cut off your passions, to cut off your edge, to cut off love and desire, is to cut off what is making you human, what is making us great. Like, it doesn't make sense to love someone, because then you make sacrifices that don't benefit yourself for that person, which evolutionary doesn't make sense, because you should be trying to make yourself the best that you could possibly be and cut down everyone else. So, that's my disagreement with what he's saying. That like passion, you know, at the times that you should be most productive in your life and when you're young and excited. It's like, no, you need to use that. Where I do kind of go back on track with him, where I kind of say, okay, I see what you're saying, is if your passion is selfish, then you burn out. Then you kind of go like, like I don't need to think about anyone else. All I need to care about is lifting myself up. Whereas he says purpose comes in helping other people. I am passionate about people not growing hungry. You know, an example. My purpose is to end hunger in America. That is no longer about you. That is what can you do. And then you might, like, let's say you're passionate about ending hunger. Then what do? You try to create your own nonprofit to end hunger. And then what you do is you try to find ways to do that. But if your purpose is to end hunger in America, then you'll join Feeding America and you'll help them. Because it's not about you anymore. It's not about what you want and how you feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
That was my initial.
So what I'm getting from the book and what I got from it initially was purpose is, like, say there's a fire, right? And when it comes to your purpose, that's like the embers that are burning the fire. That is going to last for a long time, right? That is going to be the thing that is going to be able to carry that fire for a long time. And then passion, I feel like you can use as like fuel. Like literally dousing it in gasoline is going to just completely ignite the whole thing, and then it's going to go down again. But then that purpose is still going to be there. So I think that it's important to find your purpose because I think that's going to be the base, right? Like say the base of a pyramid. That's going to be the thing that you can always fall back on. And because if you don't have purpose, once that passion's gone, what do? You don't have anything. So what I got from the book was he's saying you need to have purpose before you can like use passion, because like he said, kind of like with the show up blow up thing, like if you're always coming in here just like guns blazing, you know, and doing a workout trying to go 100% from the very start, and it's a 20-minute workout, you're not gonna last 20 minutes. Like that is not gonna last. But if you start at a good pace and then you're like, okay, it's towards the end and I have, you know, a little bit amount of energy, bam, I'm gonna hit it as hard as I can for this last 1 minute. Then yeah, that might work a little bit better. So what I get from the book is like your purpose is the thing that you need to be able to fall back on something always. And for me, like my purpose is to help other people lose weight and help other people get healthy. That truly I feel like is my purpose. And then there'll be things that I'm passionate about inside of that'll get me like I really want to start coaching, right? So then I'm super passionate about that. It gets me like I get that spark and I'm like, oh, I'm really excited about this. But then like once that dies out, am I still going to do it? Then I fall back on my purpose, which is I want to help people lose weight. I want to help others. Yeah. So that's kind of what I got from it. But I just thought so far it's been probably the most interesting, you know, couple pages I've read in the book, and I really wanted to share it with the podcast. So. Enough
to make you kind of go, do I believe that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important. Like I think it's super important to, I've been making this podcast, but I've also been listening to a lot of other podcasts because I think that's important. Like, absolutely. Right? And so I'm like, I want to find the podcast with the views that I 100% align with so I can be edified. And you know what I mean? And then now I'm kind of like, who's someone that I kind of don't agree with, you know? And I want to hear why they believe what they believe. And, you know, and so I've actually been kind of listening to more like.
Have you been listening to Flat Earth podcasts?
No. No. I don't want to be insane.
You're going to hurt all the Flat Earthers' feelings now.
You know what? That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. They can go jump off the edge.
I watched. Jeez, I watched the documentary on Netflix about that. You should watch it. I forget what it's called. It's like about flat earthers. It was really interesting because the way they set it up, it was like you could tell the flat earthers they were interviewing, whoever was the director or whatever, producers, they made it seem like we're gonna make a documentary that's about how real flat Earth is, but in reality, the whole documentary was just about how crazy these people are. I was like, you're savage. Yeah. But sorry, I digress. Sorry about that.
No. But it's like, you know, just people who, even within like my space and Facebook, people within like my belief system, Christianity, like people who I disagree with on certain issues of Christianity, where it's like, we don't, like the fundamentals, sure, like we're the same, but like, why do you view things this way? And why do I view things my way? And like, is the way I see things strong enough to withstand someone believing something different?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a really good thing to do in all areas of life. Like, can you approach someone who disagrees with you and not get all heated and get all hot and get all bothered and get offended or whatever, but can you hear what they have to say and go, very interesting, let me compare that with what I believe. No, I still believe what I believe. Okay, awesome, but why do you believe what you believe? Like, and can you have that dialogue, and are you comfortable enough in what you believe that what they say isn't going to, like, tear down your Jenga blocks of belief, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been, kind of in that world a lot. And so I think it's important to, even if you come across something that you read and you disagree with, don't go, oh, this book is trash.
Yeah.
Be like, why? Like, why did that like stick out to me?
Mm-hmm.
And then explore it.
Well, in another vein, it's kind of not super related, but something that helps me with books, like remembering things, is talking about it with somebody. You know, not just reading it and being like, okay, I'm going to remember that for sure. Just like actually talking with somebody, with you or with my girlfriend, whatever it might be. And like, oh, there's this interesting thing in the book. Let's talk about it. That helps me a lot. So I wanted to bring that up. Passion versus purpose.
Can I talk about something that's been going on in my life?
If you have to.
Can I talk about my existential crisis?
Yeah, let's talk about it. John's been having an existential crisis.
I've been having
couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
Yeah,
like it's been going on.
Let's hear about it, man.
And I want to call it midlife crisis. But
quarter life crisis.
Everyone's saying I'm not midlife yet. Yeah, it's for sure a quarter life crisis. But I'm not quarter life either, because that means I'm going to live to like 100 and something, which I'm totally down
You
for.
do CrossFit, so
Yeah.
You've seen all the new videos, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So, here is basically my crisis, and it comes down to the word impact, I think. Again, it's a crisis, so nothing is solidified. I have been, and for all intents and purposes, I had decided I quit YouTube.
When was the last video you put up?
2 weeks ago.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. So the reason why I decided to quit YouTube was because I was trying to figure out, why am I doing this? Because when I started YouTube, it started off as like random stuff that I wanted to post about, whether it was a book. The very first video I posted was a worship cover, okay? And then I started talking about like subjects, and then I started talking about books, and then I started doing like vlog stuff, and then I just started doing a whole bunch of like whatever kind of I wanted to do.
You've been on YouTube for years. And doing, for your past like iteration of YouTube has been CrossFit vlogs.
Yep.
Yeah, but when it started,
but even before that, before
you've deleted. Have you deleted all the old ones?
I don't know if I've deleted all of them, but I've made them private. Yeah. And like, I don't even think my first video is that worship one. You know what I mean? I think I've privated that one, which is why, because it's like I'm trying to find a
trying
groove.
To brand yourself.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And so, I have been doing this for I understand that doing a whole bunch of random things isn't going to stick. I've been doing fitness for years. Maybe for 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, I've been doing that brand of YouTube video for a long time. To relatively, if you're looking at success as a number, very little. Very, 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 very little success. Maybe we've talked about it before, maybe like 7,500 subscribers, 7,500. And so that started putting me in this, not crisis mode. That's not what put me in crisis mode. But how much energy am I expending into this? And how much am I getting back from it? Versus, like, if I were to go to a 9-to-5 job, I put probably less energy in and receive a salary. So much more out of that. Or if I were to go and pursue full-time, like, freelance for other companies, I'd put in this much work and I would receive a living wage. So why do I care so much about putting all this effort into YouTube where I am literally getting nothing? So that's where this, like, crisis started coming from. Like, are my priorities wrong? Because I understand that with YouTube, there's no ceiling. Like, if I go to a company, eventually I'm going to be, head creative director.
Yeah.
And then what? I find another company that's going to pay me more for that same role or whatever. YouTube, there's no ceiling. I get 100,000 subscribers, then I can get 200,000, then I can get 500,000, then I can
be PewDiePie.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's like the reality of that happening, not much, but it could. Someone did. PewDiePie does exist. Like, there's no ceiling. So like I said, it all comes down to the word impact. I think what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to make my impact as wide as possible. Let me go on the biggest platform, YouTube. Let me go in a big space, fitness on YouTube. And let me try to just spread my impact out. The problem is, in order to do that, it's an inch deep, right? Like, if I only have...
You're going wide, not deep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I only have a cup of water, and that's my impact, and I try to spread it out over asphalt, it's very thin. It doesn't get anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It eventually evaporates and it's gone.
Jeez, man.
Right?
I get it, but that
Yeah.
just sounds horrible.
But what have I been doing to increase my impact where I am? Like, what have I been doing with the people I'm surrounded by? What have I been doing with the people who are in my life? Like, am I making an impact in their life? Reality, like, really? No, because I'm so focused on trying to expand my impact that I'm not going deep in my impact. And so I've really been in this crisis of, like, to what point, even if I make it big on YouTube, to what point am I successful if I haven't made an impact on the people around me? And if you think about it like an earthquake, the deepest earthquakes travel the furthest. But if you just have this little surface level thing, it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to have anything. It's going to die. It's going to fall. It's going to do. But when you can have a deep impact, then when it's time for it to like spread out, it's going to by default spread further because it had a deeper root and a deeper impact. So this crisis that I've been rambling on about is the fact that I haven't done a good job making an impact in the people around me that are in my space now, in my circle of influence. So I don't think it's going to, even if it does spread out, it's not going to spread out far. And so I'm trying to change that. I'm trying to change how I'm impacting people.
How?
One is to be more available. Like, be more available with the people that I am in. Like, I have an awesome opportunity at the church I work with and do stuff for. Like, I can really try to make an impact there. I can create a team around me there that I can show them skills. I can show them how to do this, change this, increase this, make this better. Another thing is like, why did I start doing like Misfit and stuff? Because I wanted to be really good at CrossFit. Why do I want to be really good at CrossFit? Because I wanted to be seen as someone who was good on YouTube, right? Like,
well, I don't know.
No, yeah. So that's why. Like, I wanted people to be like, oh, this guy is determined, he is disciplined, and he's good at CrossFit. I want to follow him. What I lost was I wasn't doing class workouts anymore. And, like, I just felt I was working out alone. There was a class going on, and I'm working out alone, you know? And it's like, I've lost an impact with the people around me right there. And I wasn't having fun. I way prefer working out with people. So all these decisions I was making, I was lessening my impact where I am, trying to increase my impact outward. But what's the point if I've totally lost what I'm doing, where I am, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes down to the reason why I thought of that with ego is the enemy is, yeah, I'm going to be passionate about fitness, but I can put that passion in all the wrong areas. If my purpose is to deeply impact and make the people around me like better, or at least like if I'm a positive impact on them and not a negative impact, like if that is my purpose, I can have a down day and still act accordingly to that purpose, even though I may not be feeling passionate about it. I think that's what's been the impact, like the boiling down of my crisis is I've spent so much time trying for people to know my name instead of to know like how I've affected them, impacted them, helped them grow. It's been very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I can solve that for you.
Yeah, no,
I'm
and I'm
sort
not
of therapist, but
yeah, I'm not looking for answers. And here's like I don't want a pendulum swing. I don't want to. So I was so far on the side of wanting to make an impact as wide as possible.
yeah, I was going to ask, are you just going to disappear now or what?
No,
Like, what's the
that's the thing. My initial thing was a huge pendulum swing the other direction.
delete everything?
Quit. I was going to quit YouTube and delete it. I was going to quit my Instagram and start a new one of only people who are like my real friends. You know, I know in person.
Yeah.
I was going to go just complete other side for the sake of let me impact only the people there. And I think that if my purpose, if my point, if my thing is to make the deepest impact possible, then let it go wide. If that's what's going to happen, like if by me seriously impacting the people that I'm in contact with can have ripples, then let that happen. But don't focus on the ripples. Like if you focus on how wide you can go, you'll lose your depth. But if you focus on how deep you can go, it will go wide. It just will happen. And so honestly, I started writing down my thoughts, and it's like 5-6 pages long. And I've thought about just sharing, like, because it's literally my mind. Like, as I'm going through it, I've thought about sharing it. And now that I've said it, it'll probably need to happen, and I'll just edit it to make sure that it's not, like, spelled wrong and stuff. But it's like, it's been days that my mind has been running through this. How do you feel about my mind, my crisis?
Sad. No, it's it's an interesting thing to go through because, like, I don't want to like make it about me, but like that, like
how do you relate to what I just said?
When you say that, like, it makes me feel super lucky for what I have, because what I built was almost by accident, right? Like with the video going viral and all that stuff, like it put me out there, and I was 100% like. I was put out there in a way that in a position where I wanted to be, right? Like I wanted to help people lose weight, and the video that went viral was about basically that, right? So it was like I was thrust into the limelight I wanted to be in. But, it's been years since that has happened. It's been years, right? And so I've done my best to cultivate that, right? Like to try and go as deep with the people that I have. And like hearing you say that it just makes me feel really lucky for what I do have.
I mean, I would say that, but you've gone deep. Like when people found your video and they went to your channel, they saw exactly what your video that went viral supported. You know what I mean? Like there was content to back up your claim.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to say. And I truly believe that. And so like I said, it just makes me feel really lucky that I was able to find that. And it worked out. It worked out for me because for you, it's like you've been trying to I don't want to say like you've been trying to fake it, but you've been trying to like make something work when you're like, I don't even know if this is what I really want.
Yeah.
At least that's my own I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking like, okay, so like let's say the person I am that I put online, let's say that person does blow up. Every engagement I get asked to speak at will be around that subject. Every time I'm asked to go on a collab or something, it'll be about that subject. It will be just about CrossFit. That's what I'll be, is the CrossFit guy. And like I'm like wrestling, like I am so much more than that. Like I don't want every relationship I have to be focused on the fact that I like to exercise a certain way. Like I don't want that. Like, and so once I realize that, like, what happens if what I want to happen happens? And it's like, oh, I don't want that ending. I don't want everyone to think of me that way. So then why am I still trying to make that happen? Does that mean I don't want to make an impact in this space? No, because I still absolutely love.
Do you have plans for YouTube?
I don't have, like, this is the open. This is prime time to be filming videos.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you haven't.
And I didn't even film it. I didn't even film my workout because it's like, I'm not going to just go back to it because, I don't have a decision and it's the open. Like, I want to make sure the next video I post is like, I know why I'm doing this.
Do you think you'll explain
it literally
this stuff?
could be, yeah, maybe that'll be the next video, but I don't know. And like the next video, I'm not against the video I'm making. Like, if the next video is me working out, talking, having friends, and that's the next video I post, and it's literally the same thing I posted, whatever, but I know why I'm posting it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's
if
more
I have
what's going on in your head as to why you're posting.
Exactly. It's not what I'm creating, but why am I creating it? Like, do I just want an audience? Well, if I do, that's so shallow. That is such a shallow reason to post something. It's why people post things. But, like, follow that through. Well, what do people watch? Well, people watch insane, crazy things. So what do you need to post?
Yeah.
Oh, you need to post going to a mall and putting bubbles inside of the thing and then swimming in it because that's what people want. I mean, that's when you lose yourself. If your only reason is to get people to watch you, you eventually realize, oh, well, I need to do the next crazy. I need to do the next crazy. I need to do the next crazy. And that's where a lot of YouTube/creator burnout comes from, is they're trying to constantly find, well, what's the next thing people want to see instead of who am I? Am I living out of my passion? Am I living out of my purpose?
Well, and I would say that that's a big reason because, like, obviously I lost weight a long time ago. You know, I don't really struggle with it anymore. And so, you know, for a while there, I was like, do I really want to be this person always, you know? But I truly do love what I do on the Obese to Beast channel. And I think that's the reason I've made other avenues of, like, sharing things, right? Like, the second channel is mainly about, like, CrossFit and just it can be whatever I want it to be. But I've just kind of been doing CrossFit stuff on there. And then with this, the podcast was like, that's why I explicitly said in the first ever podcast and, like, what we've talked about, like, we don't really talk about weight loss that much. And I have a couple things I actually want to talk about today with weight loss. But, like, I don't want this podcast to be like, oh, it's a podcast about losing weight. You know, there's tons of those. I've listened to a few of them about losing 100 pounds, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, especially with a podcast, like, how are you going to spend hours talking about losing weight, you know? So that's just something I didn't want to do. And luckily, people have been very supportive of that, and it's awesome because I'm able to share different parts of my life that I want to share. Not that I even feel like need to be shared or like that people will necessarily think is interesting, but it's like, I want to be able to share other things other than losing weight. So like when you were bringing that up, it's interesting because obviously I'm someone that has, you know, I'm in a niche and it's like, do I feel like I am controlled by this? Do I feel like I'm in some sort of prison because of this? And honestly, I think through the different things I'm doing now, I don't feel that way.
But you did. You did feel that.
Yeah.
And so like, how did you get through it? I know the answer, but people...
Well, I mean, like what I just said was like I opened other things up for myself. You know what I mean? I started the second channel. I started one of them was like, why am I doing this? Like I thought to myself, why does Obese to Beast exist? And for a while, 100% it was like, well, it's my job. So like I just put out videos that I think people want to watch.
Yeah.
And then I took a step back and I was like, okay, instead of, because like there was a while I was putting out daily videos, and then there was a while I was putting out like 5 videos a week, and now I've like gotten to a point where it's like if I don't have a really good because for me it's like I like to edit vlogs. They're a lot of fun, and then I like to have videos where I talk about an important topic or like react to something or like give my commentary. I really enjoy doing those videos now. So like whenever something happens in the weight loss space, like and I can add my commentary to it, I really enjoy doing those videos. And I'm not gonna lie, it's helpful that those videos do well. You know what I mean? When I'm talking about Jillian Michaels, all the keto things, the CrossFit stuff, like those videos do well, so it helps me too. You know, but I like thought to myself, why am I doing this? And again, yeah, for a while it was because this is what I have to do. So now I've just taken a step back. I'm like, okay, if I don't have a really good topic or I don't have something I really feel like is worth, I'm not going to force myself to put out a video. 'Cause for a long time I was like always forcing myself, and like I'd wake up and literally be stressed all day long because I'm like, what can I film a video on? What makes sense? What can I do? And it was really stressful. So I stopped doing that. And now it's like, if something comes up, then I'll talk about it. Or if something comes into my head, then I'll talk about it, you know, or I'll make a video about that.
Yeah. And I think like that goes to show so much, like people who are doing the right thing to lose weight, the right thing to gain a following, the right, whatever space you're imagining. But if you don't have a why, and if you don't have your reason why, if you don't have your purpose, again, going back to that word, you're not going to want to do it. Like, you can have and this is where I, again, have my problem with those people who are like, plan out every minute, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, we are not robots.
Yeah.
And I think our body fights that. And it's not a bad thing to want to, like, routine is good in the sense that if it's something that you're for and behind and want to get, like, do and accomplish, that's not a bad thing. But if you reduce yourself to, I am just, all I do is these routines, I do it like that. Like, I just feel like there's a reason why we have passion. There's a reason why we have love and hate and all these strong emotions that we don't really have control over. And to not be dictated by them and not be controlled by them, but to not hate them either. To not like not hold them to high esteem. So, anyway, that is literally what my mind has been. It's exhausting up here, like in my head. It is exhausting constantly thinking those things. And then when I get overwhelmed, I just numb things out.
Well, yeah, and I think that what you're going through is it's very normal for somebody that is quote unquote self-employed, entrepreneur, whatever it is, right? Because when you, like you were saying, I could do a 9 to 5, and like that's true because when it comes to doing a 9 to 5 or whatever, a job that you're not the boss, you don't own it, right? You just go to work, and then when you leave work, you're done with work. The thing that sucks the most about that for most people is that you are stuck at a place for a certain amount of time every single day during the week, pretty much, right? Yeah. And trying to get off work is a huge hassle. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can say, someone that has been doing my own thing for a long time, the one thing I miss the most about, like, say, when I worked at Starbucks, that was probably one of my favorite jobs that I had, that and, like, working at the Vans shoe store, right, was when I was at work, I worked really hard. Like, I thought I was a really good employee. But when I was off work, I did not think about work at all. There's never came into my mind. But the one thing when you are an entrepreneur or whatever you want to call it, self-employed, I hate the word entrepreneur personally, but whatever. When you're doing your own thing, you're never truly off. Like, even if you tell yourself, I'm not going to go in, because we have the office, right? I'm not going to go into the office. I'm not going to check my phone. It doesn't turn off your mind.
Yeah. And
so your mind can always be racing. And so I think what you've gone through is very similar, especially when, like, you're going through something and you're like, I'm not making, monetarily, I'm not paying bills with this, you know what I mean? Like, you have your other things that you're doing, but like when it comes to YouTube, that wasn't paying bills for you. So it's like, why am I doing this? And then it goes down to, like, am I passionate about this? And then I think that you kind of had to figure that out. And I think that's what you were going through, was like, am I passionate enough about this to do it without, like, getting more views, without getting more, AdSense money, without getting more sponsors. And that's kind of, I personally, that's what I think you went through. And I think that's a pretty normal thing to go through. Because then it's not even just if you're not making money. You could even be making money and being like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like, you could be making, like, I mean, I think everyone knows you can be making a ton of money doing something you hate.
Yeah.
And even though, like, it's hard to relate to, like, someone like me that makes YouTube videos is my job. For most people that just can't relate to that. But, like, with anything, right? If you're doing something you don't enjoy, it's not fun. Like, even if it's, like, for a lot of people that they would see that as their dream job. And for me, it genuinely is. I love it. You know what I mean? I love what I do. But if you're doing YouTube and you're doing something in YouTube that you don't enjoy, it's still a job you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And so, and then, like I said, you're never off. You're never off work. You're always, even if you're away from the office, it's always going through your mind.
Yeah. And I think I'll end this point here. I always, how it's always like, right when you think you're going to give up, that's when.
Yeah, that meme of the guy, like, digging and he stops and there's the diamond right on the other side of the thing.
And it's like, I'm always like, I'll just post one more video because that might be the one. And it's like, that is such a sucky carrot to be running after. Like, if you're doing something because you keep on thinking, well, maybe, like, and it's something that is just, if you are not absolutely determined this is what I want to do, and you're just doing it because you hope that maybe the next time you'll get lucky, it's like, that is a hard grind. I know. That is a hard grind. Now, I'm not telling you to give up, but I'm just saying I feel it to my bones, that constant, like, is this going to be the one that works for me? And then it doesn't. And so your hopes are up and then crash. And you're like, well, just one more. Maybe this will be the one.
It's like people that are addicted to gambling,
Yeah. I'm gambling. I'm gambling YouTube views.
Gambling YouTube views. Okay, I wanted to talk about this, like, little thread that I put up on Twitter. I didn't tell you that I was going to bring this up, but I want to bring this up. So on Twitter, I put up this, like, thread of tweets. So it says, there's a lot of talk about self-love. Well, before we go into this, I want to, like, I had just seen, before I tweeted this, I had seen tons of people like, oh, I'm all about self-love. Do whatever you want. Like, just love yourself. That's the most important thing. And that's where my mind was when I tweeted this out. Okay. So there's a lot of talk of self-love in quotes, and that is great. I think you should love who you are. At the same time, I see nothing wrong with hating parts of yourself. For example, I hated being obese, but I loved who I was, so I changed. And then the next tweet, I hated that being obese limited my physical capabilities. I hated that being obese was killing me, so I changed that part of myself while still loving who I was. Also, I know hate is a strong word, but I can honestly say I hated what obesity did to me. And I put that up on Instagram too with a similar caption or whatever. But most of the people, and I was honestly nervous about putting it up there because it's not like I wasn't putting it up to like upset people or like be like this like person that's trying to trigger people, but it's honestly how I felt, right? So I was like, I just kind of want to share this because you see self-love all the time, and I'm not saying you should hate yourself at all, right? But I think that like with that tweet, what I'm trying to say is that I think it's okay to love who you are, right? Like I always said when I was obese, I always felt like I wasn't living the life that I should have been. I don't know how to explain it, but like I always felt like this isn't who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Truly. But I loved who I was. Like I remember I would dream at night. Literally dream about being slim. That would be my dream. Would be like at the time I skateboarded all the time. So I would dream about being a good skateboarder that was not morbidly obese. Like that's what my dreams were. And I had cool hair and I had girlfriends because I didn't have any of those when I was obese. Literally, that's what I would dream about. Being able to do kickflips downstairs and stuff, right? So I always felt like I loved who I was. Like I genuinely loved the person that I was. But I was like, I hate being obese. I hate this. And a lot of people, like I've even said in the past, like you should change from a place of love. But I think that it's still coming from a place of love. But like my change was from a place like I love who I am, and this thing, obesity for me, is stopping me from being the person I think I need to be or that I was put on this earth to be. Mm-hmm. And so I hated that it was doing that to me so much, so I changed. Mm-hmm. And that was the point that I was kind of trying to make. But it's people made points, and like there were some things that were very valid, right? Somebody said like, well, if it's something that you can't change about yourself, should you hate that? And that's where it's like, well, again, that's why I brought up the obesity thing, because that was something I did to myself, mm-hmm. right? So I could change that, mm-hmm. right? If it's like I hate someone said like your skin color, right? Then yeah, obviously that's something that instead of trying to change your skin color, you need to learn how to love mm-hmm. yourself there. But like if it's something like that you are like, if it's Say it's this. Instead of obesity, say it's smoking. I love who I am, but smoking cigarettes, man, it's really killing me. Like I can't run with my kids. I can't do this. Then that's something that's like I love who I am, and I hate that I smoke cigarettes. Mm-hmm. Most people wouldn't argue that. They'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you should hate that you smoke cigarettes. They should hate that, so you should change that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to obesity, people have a different kind of look at it. Because I get it. It is different, but at the same time, I mean, it's something that you can change. Yeah, there's a small amount of people that are given a bad hand in life that you have to deal with PCOS, thyroid issues, that losing weight is harder, but it doesn't make it impossible. But I get that that's a little bit different. But for the vast majority of people, obesity, especially for me, was something that I had done to myself, that I was able to change about myself. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up to see what you kind of thought about that.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I think of is that you are not your circumstances. And this applies to everything, right? Like you're like where you find yourself right now does not define you. Your mistakes you've made in the past that put you where you are right now. Your weight, your job, none of those define you because you have the ability to change that. Now, I am white.
Mm-hmm.
You are? Yeah, I know. That still doesn't define me, but I can't change anything, mm-hmm. right? I can't change that. And so it's like a lot of people are afraid that they are who they look at, who they are at this moment is who they are forever. And like, I think that we've driven home the fact that if you work, you can change, you know? That's literally the name of our podcast. We've driven that down like crazy. You are not stuck where you are. The beauty of being self-aware, the beauty of knowing like who you are and what you want and that things are not the way that they should be, and so that you can change the situations and the circumstances to get to a place that you want to be. Like you can change. So, yeah, I totally agree. Like someone asked me why I decided to lose weight when I was working at Starbucks. I didn't lose as much weight as you, but I did.
Yeah, you lost like 40 pounds.
I know.
It's not bad.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
And you're jacked now.
Yeah, I've gained a lot of it back too. So, no, not. I've not. Not. It's a different weight. So,
Yeah,
if
exactly.
you're looking at the scale, I've gained a lot of that weight back, but I do not look.
Yeah, you know,
nearly
you've completely
similar.
changed your body, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to look at pictures before and after. If people don't, you need to post. You should post it before and after. You haven't posted one forever on your Instagram.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
But why did I change it? Because I didn't in my mind. I didn't look a certain way, but every time I took a picture, it told me I looked away, right? And I just got sick. I got sick of that disconnect. I literally got sick of being like, oh yeah, sweet, this picture's gonna be sick. Oh,
Who is that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's not what I thought I was gonna look like. I got sick of that disconnect. Literally, that I didn't look the way I thought I did in pictures. And so for me, you can say like, is it self-love? Like, yeah, I had an expectation.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was not seeing it in those pictures. That's my opinion.
Yeah. But like, so for
On
me, it's there. Like, kind of bringing it full circle, right? I deal with loose skin now, and there's a lot of people on social media that deal with loose skin. A lot of them get surgery. That's fine. I'm not here to say like getting surgery is bad. It's not, because like for me, the reason I haven't gotten surgery, the reason I haven't done it is because my loose skin doesn't bother me to where like it doesn't hurt. Right? There's no pain. There's no like it's not like in the folds there's like boils growing or like red itchy skin, which is definitely a thing people deal with. And I would 100% get surgery if that was happening. And I still say that in the future, if that ends up happening, if I'm 40 years old and something starts happening where I need to get surgery, I am not against it. But right now, where I am in my life, it doesn't affect me there. When I work out, as long as I'm wearing like compression stuff, there's no pain ever. But if I'm wearing compression stuff, it doesn't annoy me because it's it's locked down. It is locked down, right? So it doesn't annoy me there. People will ask like, well, when you doing CrossFit, all the dudes take off their shirts and like, doesn't that bother you? I'm like, I don't care. Like that doesn't bother me at all. Like I never see like, say when you take your shirt off, I never think to myself, I wish I could do that. No, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't care about that.
Yeah.
And everyone's different. There might be some people that are completely obsessed with the loose skin that they have. But for me, I don't know. Like it just doesn't bother me. So I guess like when it comes to there, like I understand that, and this is one of those things that you can't really change except for without surgery.
Yeah.
So if you hated that, if you hated the loose skin, then like there is something you can do about it. And it is very expensive. That's another reason I haven't gotten it, because I don't feel like spending $30,000 getting rid of it, right?
Yeah.
So, but if it is something like you could save up for a long time and maybe eventually get it.
What you need to do is DM a doctor and be like, hey, I'll give you free exposure.
No, that happens on Instagram all the
Yeah.
time. But I don't know. I don't like handouts like that. Like coming from the guy that got a car from Ellen, but I didn't ask for that either. You know what I mean? Like, but like I don't know. Like
Because she did offer the surgery, right?
like she never did. So like it was in the emails I had just kind of talked to the people like, no, I don't plan on getting surgery, and then they kind of were just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm assuming that might have been a thing they would have offered, but I had already like people this frustrates me. People they used to, it doesn't happen as much anymore, but I used to get accused of keeping my loose skin for basically like clout on YouTube and like views. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I might make a video maybe once a month at the most about my loose skin. Maybe, right? Probably not even that much.
Yeah.
I live with it every day.
Yeah.
Every day of my life. It's been 5 years. So to say that I keep my loose skin because of views on YouTube, I think is absolutely ridiculous, because I know for a fact if I had a series about my loose skin removal, that would do really well.
Yeah.
And I can make videos about my loose skin removal scars and surgery and all that. Like I can... I don't know why it bothers me so much when people say that, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, life is not all about YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? So, like...
Oh, I do know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, for me, it's... it genuinely doesn't bother me to a point where I feel like I need to get surgery for it. And that's like kind of that's the answer for that. I kind of went off on a tangent. I know I was talking about like, but like, yeah, I honestly, I love myself, and that is like the loose skin isn't something that bothers me enough to feel like I need to change it, to feel like I need to get rid of it with like very invasive surgery. So I just haven't.
Mm-hmm. But it's not something you would, like, if you don't see yourself going, like, in 10 years, being like, you know what, I deserve this. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's hard to imagine what
Yeah,
you're gonna
no,
think
it
in
is.
10 years.
I don't know. I think that honestly, like if it's the same story, I don't see it. Like
Yeah.
I don't see me being like just one day waking up and be like, you know what? Because like that's the way I think is like I would have to be like in my head, you know what? I feel like being bedridden for a couple months and in pain for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what surgery is. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like to get rid of this loose skin that truly doesn't bother me very much. Again, if I started feeling pain and it was like debilitating me or making it so things were harder than they needed to be, then yeah, 100% I would. And I don't have an issue with that. And I don't think anybody should have an issue with that. You know what I mean? And and I don't have an issue with other people getting it just because of how it looks. Like it doesn't bother. I don't care what other people do with their bodies.
And at this point, your love of being able to do everything
Yeah.
without any, you're not, like, you can do any workout, any thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't stop you. So your love of that freedom
Mm-hmm.
is way more than your annoyance of
Absolutely.
loose skin.
Yeah. It just, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. And people will be like, man.
So it just doesn't align with your priorities.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up and talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, loose skin is just, it's just a topic that people always have a lot of questions about.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I've talked about it a lot, it's still not talked about that much.
Yeah.
And whenever it is talked about, it's usually talked about for a little bit and then proceeded with, I'm getting surgery. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people don't talk about it. And then when they start talking about it, it's because they're about to get surgery.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fine. You know, people can do whatever they do. And it's not even just social media. That's like TV shows or whatever, right? Like
Yeah.
they'll be like, wow, he lost 400 pounds, but he was left with debilitating loose skin. So now he's getting rid of it. You know what I mean? That's how it always is. And for me, like, I truly understand. And like, I just made a post today about it too. Like, I know there are people that no matter how much they dislike their skin, they will never be able to get surgery because it's not going to be covered by most medical insurance things.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're going to have to pay for it out of pocket. And a lot of people don't have thousands of dollars to just spend. I don't have thousands of dollars to just spend, right? And they don't have like you were joking around like, oh, hit up a surgeon. But like there's people that can't do that either. You know, and most people. So like there are people that live with it every day. So that's why I bring it up because most of the time when it's brought up, it's brought up in a way like, oh, I'm getting rid of it now too.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it's like I don't do it for other people. Like I don't talk about it because I want to be some like example for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to talk about it because it's something that's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's not this huge like thing I'm trying to do. It's just like no, it's just I like to talk about what's on my mind, and sometimes it's on my mind, so I make a post about it.
And it just fit. I mean, it fits your brand,
Mm-hmm.
if you will. Like, I hate to use that word, but you've made videos about a change in shoe size, right?
Yeah.
You've made videos about other
Things that happen when
that
you
have
lose weight.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
That video. Oh man, I want to talk about that a little bit. So
Alright.
so I made a video, just a little like really short story. So I made a video about your penis size changing after losing weight. It doesn't. It's just the what you can see is more because there's less fat in the weight. Pretty much is the basis of the video. But man, some of the like the video sometimes will like spike right in views, and then I just get a spike in really weird DMs for a while.
Oh my gosh.
So like it's and like but it's funny though because I get that question I get all the time. So it's like it's a question that people want to know about. So
If you never made that video, would you make that video now?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's ways that you can make it to where it's not like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the way I made it wasn't like overly sexual at all. It was just like this. I mean, I was very awkward, and I still think I would be awkward if I was making a whole video about my penis, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a fun thing for me to talk about. With
Those are actually all what my first videos were about.
That's why I
they're
deleted
unlisted
them.
now, yeah.
Yeah, that's the other channel. Yeah, but like I think that
Don't look up Jeannie's Weenie. Jeannie's Weenie is a very different channel. I've never made any money on that one. Demonetized.
yeah, definitely demonetized. It's funny that video never got demonetized, which is very like
Yeah. That's
very
weird. People have
surprising.
been demonetized for less.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Or maybe more.
Or more, yeah. Hey.
But yeah, so it's I mean, it's like, yeah, it's definitely awkward to talk about, but I think I would. Like, I don't think I have an issue with it at all. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, I that's the way I think of it. Is like, I talk about whatever when it comes to weight loss. Like, I'm not really afraid to talk about anything, and like loose skin is a big part of that, right? So
I think I was just wondering if that was one of your videos that you were making just to make videos. You know what I mean? When you were like, oh, I just need to I need a topic to talk about. I'll talk about this. You feel like that one, that one stood the test of time. Like, you're pretty proud of that one.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that was during the time probably that I was going through that. You know what I mean? And maybe that might have been my mindset with making it. But knowing the amount of people that this sounds weird, but the amount of people actually has helped.
Yeah.
Like the amount of guys that it probably has helped.
Yeah.
It doesn't like, you know, it's weird that I'm the one talking about it, but at the same time, like, I had one person come up to me and talk to me about that video. That was weird. Yeah. That was very uncomfortable.
Well, that was a girl too, right?
I think it was.
I think I remember. Yeah. I think I was there.
Yeah, were you?
I think so. I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, for most of the people that are watching it, most guys that are watching it, you know, they're probably actually curious. That's why they looked up the video, and now they have a sense of, you know.
Yeah. But it's also like, the reason you made your loose skin video wasn't for views. It was because It's because people were asking you.
Exactly.
And people are asking you this other one, so you made a video about it. And so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I said, right, the purpose is to help people. And so even from the inception of the channel, that's what it was about, was helping other people. Yeah. And it really has, like, you know, there's been some ups and downs with the channel, but it stood the test of time. Like, that is my purpose, and that's why I still make videos.
Yeah, and I think that's where my struggle came from, was
You didn't have one.
Do I have that strong of a purpose?
Like mission statement almost kind of thing.
For me, and it was...
I like
making CrossFit videos.
I like fitness, and I'm going to make fitness videos.
And like, if I can understand that that's my purpose, then that's fine. Like, that's a fine purpose. Yeah. Like, I make fitness videos because I enjoy fitness and I enjoy making videos. Cool. Great. Like, you know, but like...
Well, and what I think is cool about your channel is, like, from, like, an outsider's perspective, kind of outsiders, I'm a brother, but, like, you're able to, like, talk to the person that isn't going into the gym and, like, you know, like, destroying it and, like, killing the open in the top 2% or whatever. Yeah. You know, you're still, obviously, like, you started from very, very low levels of fitness, and you've gotten really good, and, like, people can see that through your videos. You know, I think that's cool. Yeah. But, again, like, if that's not what you, like, want to be known for, then it's totally understandable why you're like, I don't know if this is what I want. You know what I mean? Even though that, again, that's a completely fine thing to be like, that's what it inspires me to make videos. That's my purpose, you know, is to, like, show people this struggle. It's hard. Like, that's why when I was saying I feel lucky was because, like, it was like the purpose, like, slapped me right in the face and was like, this is what you're doing, you know? Yeah. And it was like, when I did it, so many messages of people being like, thank you so much. Like, I've never seen anything like this, you know, talking about the loose skin video. I've always wondered, blah, blah, blah. Like, and so it was like, wow, there's a lot of people out there. And then it just, you know, as time went on, I really realized, like, that's what I'm here for. That's what I like doing. Yeah. And so it's been really, really fun. And it's been, that's why I was like, I feel lucky. I know it sounds weird, but, you know, there's finding your purpose in life is hard. Yeah. You know, like, finding, like, what am I really supposed to be doing with my life is hard. And, like, I was almost, like, handed that, you know, and it's crazy though, because, like, it's, you just never know you never know what season of life you're in. Because if you would have told me when I was 360 pounds, your purpose is going to be help other people lose weight, and, like, I would have laughed at you. Yeah. And as cheesy as it sounds, like, it's so true. Like, everything I went through from junior high, high school, out of high school, all of those things led me to where I am right now. Period. Yeah. Like, that is 100% true. And so, like, I mean, I'm not saying, like, when you're going through bad things, always think, oh, what can I get out of this? But if you are going through something, you never know what that can teach you for the future. You never know what those issues, those things, those trials and tribulations, what that can mean for the you in 5 years. Yeah. And what you can do for other people because of those things. Yeah. And for me, it was, you know, all those things worked out really well. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, I wouldn't say everything. I think you can use everything in your life to help you. When people say everything happens for a reason, even though that's a very Christian thing to say, like, I don't agree with that. Like, I just don't. Bad things happen because there are bad people out there, and there's not, like, some overall good and sometimes bad things happen because you're an idiot.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
sometimes you do really
Like sometimes
stupid
you're the bad person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then there are also just people who are just gone in the head,
Mm-hmm.
and they do bad things that cause bad things to happen in your life. And to say like, there's a reason behind that. It's like, no, that's called chaos. Like that's a real thing in this world called chaos that just doesn't happen for any reason. That doesn't change the fact that you can take that terrible situation and be like, what can I do now? You know, like now that that is over, or even I notice that you're in the middle of it. Like now what can I do to better my circumstance, better my situation? And sometimes that's getting out of a relationship. Sometimes that's getting out of a job or changing some habits so that you can make a better life for yourself. But I agree that like maybe you're, you know, like all your weight gain and all that wasn't like for the purpose of you becoming a weight loss influencer
Yeah.
or whatever, content creator.
Mm-hmm.
But you can sure as heck use that in what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't ever think like I was put on this earth to gain a bunch of weight and then lose it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I think that I was able to use those things and like, you know, manufacture whatever it is that I have now, you know, by, you know, trying and like genuinely enjoying making videos and all that stuff. But it's not like I'm like, I was put here to, you know, be in this position, gain the weight, lose the weight, make that video. But like, I don't think it's like pop, pop, pop like that. You know, I think it's just with your mindset, what can you do from those situations? Like, how can you learn? Like, it's up to you to learn from it. And if you don't learn from it, you don't learn from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, so I wanted to end the podcast. I wanted to do this at the end. I wanted to talk about, I know that we were talking about CrossFit a little bit earlier, but I wanted to talk about the Open just because, you know, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening are doing the Open, and I just wanted to bring it up a little bit.
Okay, cool. I started off really slow. 19.1 wall balls and rowers. I went really slow. Embarrassingly slow.
Like what was your?
My pull on the row was 1,000.
Oh, okay.
Like I was not pushing it at all.
That's 1,000 calories per hour for the people. And if you don't know what 19.1 is, we're doing so. The CrossFit Open is going on right now.
So the CrossFit Open is the worldwide open where every single person who does CrossFit can sign up. Now, 40% of you didn't.
for
who
good
did last
reason.
year.
We can talk about. I want to talk about that too, a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, if you've been listening to our podcast and you don't follow CrossFit, you know that there's been a lot of changes and no one knows what's going on. The results of all those changes is that the open participation is significantly lower.
Really?
Yeah, and it should be.
Yeah.
It should be.
100%.
They did terrible with their marketing. They did terrible with their media. They did terrible to the people who work there. Apparently, the guy who's running all this stuff doesn't even live in Santa Cruz. So he's making all these decisions that are affecting HQ, but he's not having to live with any of them. And so all this stuff is happening within the CrossFit HQ. And so they pretty much fired all their media team. There's no real big announcement on the Open. The Open announcement was terrible. Absolutely.
I have to say something about this.
What?
Because I think it was bad, but at the same time, I never really cared that much about the announcement anyways.
Neither did I, but you did notice, oh, I missed.
Absolutely. Yeah, like obviously it was nice when it was nicer, but at the same time, like, so there was a guy that was obviously unbelievably nervous that was doing most of the announcing. You can tell. He literally said to Sam Briggs, "Welcome to CrossFit."
Yeah.
Like, you could tell the dude was nervous.
Yeah.
But in the live chat, so he was a little bit overweight, and people were making fun of that, and that
Which
was
is
not
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's
like
not cool.
I thought that was just like I get that people are upset about that, but like it's not this dude's fault.
Yeah.
Like he's just doing the best that he can.
Yeah.
But that's I had to grant.
That is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But the announcement is a 15-minute. The workout was a 15-minute AMRAP. As many rounds, you just keep on moving for 15 minutes. You do 19 wall ball shots, 19 calories on a rower, over and over and over.
Over and over and over and over and over.
Okay, so how did you feel like it went?
So that's a good workout for me.
I know.
I
immediately was like, okay, cool, not competing with him in this one.
Yeah, like
I was not that far behind you.
What was your score?
Yours was 309.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was 285.
That's not bad.
For how, I'm not kidding. I did not try.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went unbroken on the rowers, on the wall balls.
On the rowers?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah. But I casually pushed an 1,000 pace almost the entire time. So anyway, keep on talk about.
But yeah, so I mean, it was like that's a good workout for me. Rowing, like not really difficult movements. There's no gymnastics in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like wall balls, even though I'm not, I'm shorter. So and like even the row, like it's not really a short person's workout, but for some reason I'm good at rowing and I'm good at wall balls.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just
and I really don't think wall balls are a tall person's game because they have so much further to travel.
I think it helps to be really tall. I think the issue is if you're really short, they're just really, really hard.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like it's just not for really short. If you're like middle, like us size, 5'8", 5'9", they're fine. 5'10",
5'9.5".
5'9.5".
It's fine.
You know what I mean? They're not that big of an issue.
Yeah.
But if you're 5'1", then yeah. But yeah, I liked the workout. I liked it. I get that it was super simple and people were like, that's annoying, but apparently Dave Castro is still programming them. And so it's still up, like he's still the one that's I don't know how true that is, but for me, I was like, when people saw it, they're like, oh, this is going to be fine, it's going to be easy. And I was like, these workouts that it's just like, you're never going to have to stop. You can always move. Those are the ones that hurt the most. And 100% it hurt the most. Like,
I just don't know. Like, halfway through the workout, so 7 minutes and 30 seconds in, I look at the clock, I see 7:30, and I just get a smile on my face because it literally was like, I'm having fun. And like last year, I was filming every open workout, and I wanted so bad to do well, right? Like I wanted people to be like, wow, his score is incredible, typing. And this year, like I didn't film the open workout, and like I just did like. I rested. I didn't try to rise to the occasion, but I rested on the level of practice that I put in, and it was like, this is fun. Like I literally, I couldn't believe it, but halfway through, looked at the clock and smiled and was like, I can keep this up. Like, I don't know. It was really weird. So it was a very interesting experience for me because I did get a relative, like, there are people who have incredible scores, but like, even like relatively within the gym, like I had a pretty good score, and it was like, it was just, I was very proud of the effort I put in, like, cause it still hurt, obviously, like keeping that pace for 15 minutes, but like, it was nice to not go out really hot and then
try and hold on,
and then spend 7 minutes trying to hold on until my last push at the end, like it was just nice to know like that effort was consistent.
Yeah.
I'm not redoing any of them.
Yeah, I don't think
maybe like if something happens like last year with the handstand push-ups. And I'm like, okay, I need to change something, maybe. But like I've got no pressure.
Yeah, I think for me, like if in my head I'm like, man, maybe I could have done a little bit better, I'm not gonna redo. But if it's like something disastrous, like some days my muscle ups, bar muscle ups feel really good. Some days they feel terrible. If I had a day where it was like, wow, I could barely do one, then I might redo it. But honestly, other than that, like, I have no plans. No plan. And like for me, I did film it, but I just like I didn't go to like Friday Night Lights that we have here. I just just went to my regular 9 a.m. class. I brought my camera, but I just put it down. Didn't like have someone filming me. Just set it down and recorded myself, and I put it on my second channel because that's where more CrossFit stuff is anyways, And it was just it was the same thing. Like I pushed really hard because I was like, I like this workout. I want to do well. And obviously I always want to do well in any workout that I do. And then when it's the open, it's like, you like those are numbers you're gonna remember.
Yeah.
And so it was nice, but it was a lot less pressure than normal, and that was nice. So I'm excited for this year's open, but at the same time,
do you remember what you were pulling?
Yeah, like a 1300. I tried to keep that pace, like 14, 13, and then it dropped to like 12.
Yeah.
And I would try and keep it over that.
Mine was 10.
So
literally 1,000.
1,000. Yeah.
I was breathing well.
Yeah. So it's a weird feeling. Like the open in the past has been such a huge deal for me. Like I would have someone film it. We would go to Friday Night Lights. Like we would put so much pressure on ourselves. And now it's just, I just want to, obviously I want to do well, but it's just that like, I'm just trying to treat it as much as I can like another workout.
Yeah.
It's obviously in my head, it's built up a little bit more than that, but
I was even considering before the whole crisis thing, I was like, okay, that means they're going to do the announcement on Thursday. I'll do the workout that night so I can film and edit it and have it up first thing Friday morning so that I can be the first person who puts a video out so I can get the most views. Like that was like
that's just what comes with the territory though.
I know, but it's like I would sacrifice doing the workout with everyone, you know, like just for the sake of, oh, I got the video up first.
Well, yeah, when it comes down to what's more important to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like if what's more important to you is being the first one up because you actually like you want to do that and you like really care about being the first person up, then I don't see anything wrong with that, really.
Yeah.
But if it's like, man,
it didn't align with me.
Yeah, if it's like I'm doing this and I really don't want to be doing this right now and I'm just doing it because I can be first, then it's like, well, then don't do that.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah, that's how I felt about the Open this week. I think that it'll be interesting as it moves on, especially because there's 2 Opens this year, which is kind of weird. It's just weird. It's a weird situation with CrossFit, but
Jazz was like kind of nervous about this workout before we did it. And she's like, Sean, just tell me something, because I was not nervous. Again, I was like, whatever, I'm just going to do a workout. I'm going to feel good about it. And she's like, give me something, like tell me something that's going to make me less nervous like you are. I was like, how about this? You literally have another Open this year. Like,
well, there you go.
You literally have a second Open in October. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're right. That worked. And it's like, this is just
another workout, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode. That is all we have for you today. Very random.
Yeah.
But it's not random. We knew what we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
The conversation that came from it was very beneficial. Thank you so much for listening. We'll check you guys out in the next. We won't check you guys
What are you talking about? We're ending this.
Peace.